Hello everyone, I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to Bluebird Sessions. Thank you very much to Bluebird Sessions for having me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jodie Reid and I'll be playing a couple of originals for you guys today. This one's called Up Against and it's basically just picture a mountain and we'll get there. Here we go.
I wonder, is there anyone there for this lonely wanderer? Yeah, it's her up against the world. My papas are gone, I miss and landed me in rubble and stone. Before I knew it, I was all alone with my back up against the wall. But I've come a long way now. I know what I'm up against. Vibrations and confessions echo this empty void, and I hear the voices call with their mouths up against the wall. But they've come a long way now. They know what they're up against. We've come a long way, and we know what we're up against. As we start to crawl with our backs up against the wall, and we start to crawl with our backs up against the wall. Hiya.
Right, hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was from the first album that I released last year called Secondary Sight. If you like it, go and check it out. Yeah, and it was basically just about mountain climbing and not knowing what you're doing there and everyone being against you and there being constant obstacles, which I think we can all kind of relate to at present times. Yeah, just sort of knowing that you have walked far enough and that you are getting where you need to go. So that being said, I hope you guys are all keeping well and happy and safe and warm because it's really cold. I'm trying to not let my fingers freeze. Yeah, I've been writing since I was about 12. So it's now been 10 years. It's a pretty long time. And I've released 2 albums so far. I released another one in May this year. It's called Celtic Commotion. And it's a bit... well, it's Celtic, I mean, that's the only way you can describe it, but it was basically inspired by a whole bunch of fantasy novels, fantasy movies, Lord of the Rings, all those type of things, and Viking and medieval places and all those sort of things. So just before I finished the Celtic Commotion, I was wondering whether I should put in another track. And I didn't have anything particularly Celtic in my repertoire to sort of add to the album. And at that point I was going to play Dungeons and Dragons with some friends of mine, and I thought, okay, well, let's write a song about that. So this song is called Dungeons and Dragons. I put on my very best Scottish accent. I do apologise if I offend anyone who is Scottish, because I do my best, but it's probably not as good as theirs. Yeah, so it's a story about a Dungeons and Dragons game that I've never actually had, but I think would be pretty cool. And the actual recorded version, if you guys do choose to go and look on the internet, it actually has a couple of fun sounds in there. I use a lot of kitchen utensils, and there's even a squeaky toy in there somewhere. So if you're curious to look, please go and have a look. So without further ado, Dungeons and Dragons. Let's get in the Scottish zone.
Dungeons and Dragons, fire and kings, water nymphs and serpents, and other mysterious things. A tale of how their friendship brought darkness down to light. With each and every day that turns side by side they fight. All of those who seek to betray light by way of dark. As strange woes separate these friends and foes apart. There once was a merry king striding on his way. He found an old dusty flute which he began to play. The dear devoted king had never played a note in his life, but he struck a chord surprisingly, it sounded quite alright. The king played his newfound flute down by the creek. Here he came upon the water nymphs floating gracefully. He gestured up a greeting and the nymphs sprang to life. He requested that they sing along. They replied that they just might. Serpents stood their way. He asked what they were doing at this early time of day. He said, oh how I wish I had a drum to join the fun, but I have no hands to play it, so I suppose that I'll just hum. They went along the river spreading joy to the villagers. With their jolly tune they made sure to avoid the pillagers. They went to every crevice, they played for every house, as the folk happily gathered to hear what their story was about. Out of the shadows a gang of goblins lay in wait. They had an irksome feeling about the king that they did hate. They jumped out of the alley, held a blade at the edge of his life. The king was nightly swayed, but his friends joined in the fight. And they sing da 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 There were creatures slain with bows. Both sides were equally drawn. Who'll win, well, nobody knows. Away in the dungeons, the faithful dragon heard the call of the king whom he served, and he let out a mighty roar. He broke out of the castle and breathed a ball of fire that circled all the goblins, sent them to the crispy pyre. It seems we have come to the end of our tale. Our heroes have triumphed and swiftly set sail into the west, where the tired heroes lie. As for the dragon, well, they say he took to the sky. Some say they've heard him up in the dungeons mimicking the sound of the king's old lute, which humbly shakes upon the ground. In the deep dark tones of his belly he sings of the water nymphs and serpents and their alliance with the king.
Great stuff. So I always enjoy playing that one. Hope you guys enjoyed it just as much. Massive thank you to Bluebird Sessions for having me on today. And if you like the music that you heard, the weirdness, the style of writing, the screams, then please go forth and follow me on my Instagram. It's at Jodie Reid Music, and Facebook is at Jodie Reid 07. I'm on Spotify, YouTube, all those places. Also want to just say a big thank you to the people who have already donated to the next album, because obviously as an independent artist, I do all this by myself. So if you'd also like to make a contribution, there will be a Busker code put up very soon. If you know how Busker works, you basically just scan it with your phone camera and it leads you to a site which you can then donate any amount anonymously, not anonymously. Send me a message, it's all good. And that will hopefully come through and be able to pay for the third album, which would be really cool to do. I hope you guys are all really keeping happy inside your walls, or otherwise being able to get out a bit, exercise and eat healthily. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the music I've had to play today, and that you keep on keeping on, I think. Have a great day, and thank you so much for listening.